All right, and he's off.
Yo.
Okay, to start off, normally you go over to Cranky and you would go do the training barrels. But instead, he's just going to escape training grounds immediately. And to do so, he's going to do what we call wet escape using a trick called swim through vertical walls, which if you're underwater and you see up in a certain direction, you can pass straight through walls while you're swimming. And then he's just going to go straight to the loading zone and exit.
It only works on some angles, though, but it's convenient.
And now you're going to see him sort of throw himself at a tag barrel for a while. And it's to get this very important trick that we call tag barrel storage. I don't know if you want to explain it, Falcon.
Basically, he's trying to do a uncrouch animation on a specific frame before entering the tag barrel. That gets him control of his Kong while in the tag barrel, which means that he can tag from a certain distance away and he will become invisible. This state allows him to do something called telegrabbing, which is used to get to Hideout Helm early. Basically, the game is kind of confused about where you are, so it warps you up when you grab up ledges.
Okay, it looks like you got it.
Yeah.
And you could tell because you could hear him moving while it looked like he was also still in the tag barrel.
The screen also shaked, and that's another indicator.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's what you just saw was the telegrab we were talking about, which roughly doubles your health of a ledge that you grab. Right there, he just kicked down to a lower platform and paused because it sets up a piece of memory that stores his position for a very precise ledge pull-up that he's about to do. That'll put him exactly inside the mouth where the loading zone for Hideout Helm is.
He wants a certain height value from the pause in order to get this to work consistently.
Yeah. It's just a consistent setup that we came up with. And there you go. Now he's in Helm Lobby. Now he doesn't have 100 golden bananas, so the only way to get in is to clip out of bounds and go behind the B locker.
So what he's going to do is he's going to do a moon kick on the ledge. If you do an aerial attack on a ledge or a slope or something like that, and then kick, you can gain a lot of height as it adds the aerial attack height to the kick. Using that, he can do a clip in Hideout Helm Lobby to access the level early.
This trick is kind of difficult because not only do you have to hit this frame perfect trick, if you dip too low, you can actually fall into the lava and die. But it's not too punishing because you just instantly respawn.
Mm-hmm.
It's important to note that he has to. Oh, there, he got it. Okay. So,
nice.
All right, so you saw he got the moon kick, and then he hit the pipe, and the pipe pushed him out of bounds. He was able to slap on it and jump off of it, and now he's out of bounds, and he can just walk around the lava and just enter the loading zone from the back, skipping the need for 100 golden bananas, or Chunky, or any of those moves.
Yep.
Okay, so now...
normally... Go ahead.
Well, yeah, so normally you need to go up this slope with Lanky because it's too steep for a normal Kong. But you're able to do this wall stalling method with DK and slapping that lets you just barely inch up the slope over and over by repeating this repetitive action.
If you jump out of the slap animation at a certain time while holding against the wall, you basically can continuously climb up to get to the top. The slope is too steep to moon kick off of, so we can't do that, unfortunately.
Yeah. The second slope, though, you can just roll straight up. And now to get past this wall, he's going to have to do a moon kick off this switch. Oh, nice. First try.
Wow.
That's really good.
That's not easy.
That was very, very good.
The same thing as in Helm Lobby, he's doing a moon kick, and it's a kind of precise clip through the wall. And from there, he can navigate out of bounds in Hideout Helm to get the only thing he needs, which is the key at the very end of the level.
What you just saw him do there, backflipping at that little corner, was the way the game handles out of bounds is it gives you the height of the last floor that you touched, and there's this little piece of geometry that's just sticking out that he could backflip up to, and then because because it's a real floor and it extended out of bounds, then he was able to like keep his height and make it over to this room, which has this terminal in it, which lets him push himself out of bounds again.
Very
It's very
weak
convenient.
ledge on the terminal. It's very easy to clip through by just jumping in between.
Yeah, you quite literally just walk into the wall and clip out of bounds. And then he's able to get straight to key 8, and after a short animation with the key, he's able to reset, and he now has key 8 in his inventory. Okay, so he's about to start up a trick we call MMM.
Stands for main menu mode. This trick is very important to the run. It allows us to get all of the moves early without seeing Candy, Cranky, or Funky. Basically, it's going to activate the intro story cutscene and cancel it at a certain time. That cutscene is 4 minutes and 25 seconds, roughly-ish, around there.
Mhm.
And it's going to run in the background. During that time, he is going to go to Cranky's and do the training barrels that he needs. He doesn't need to do all of them. He only needs to do 2 of them to beat the game.
Mhm.
And when that's done, well, actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. He has time to mess around because he has to wait for a scene transition in the intro story because it's divided into parts. The first one is at 55 seconds. So he's going to cancel that scene transition with Cranky's text.
Yeah. So this text that spawns the training barrels, it's because it's a cutscene, it's going to trigger a fade out in the intro story because the intro story is playing in the background right now. But if he cancels that text on the first transition to the next cutscene, that would normally try and pull him back into the intro story, then it overlaps it, and he's able to just continue on in his file instead.
Yeah.
There's a lot of weird effects going on right now. Like you can hear that, there's Isles music in training.
Yeah, the music gets messed up. He's gonna do the same thing he did with entering this barrel at 124.5.
Yeah.
You're gonna maybe see the start to fade out, and then it gets canceled by going in the barrel. And he's gonna do orange barrel. There's no scene transition for a while, so he can just go into the next training barrel right away.
Mm-hmm. And we forgot to mention, but the only 2 training barrels you actually need to beat the game are, well, you technically only need barrel, but we get orange barrel and barrel.
Yeah.
In the current route.
You don't need dive barrel because there's a glitch that allows him to swim and he doesn't need to dive anymore. You don't need vine barrel because vines don't show up in the run. He technically can skip orange barrel, but he has time to do it anyway, so might as well.
Yeah, and also normally you'd get Simian Slam by beating all 4 of the training barrels and then going back to talk to Cranky, but as a side effect of this glitch that he's getting, he gets all the moves, including Simian Slam.
Yeah, not only Simian Slam, he gets the most upgraded version, which is Super Duper Simian Slam. Now he's gonna go tag Warp 3 for later.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing he's gonna do, then pause exit to cancel another scene transition.
Yeah. So basically just he's doing a lot of stuff right now because he's on a timer. He's setting up as much as possible for the late game underneath this timer, so that all he has left to do is just go get another key, and then he can instantly go to K. Rool.
Yeah. So now he's going to view his file. That loads his file into memory, which is very important. That ensures he will get pulled into the correct file. Now he's going to go to multiplayer to get oranges, which will be transferred into his file, as well as so however many oranges he gets is how many he puts in his file. This isn't super important on PC, but we have time to do it, so why not?
Oh, is he going for a phase walk?
Yes, he is.
That'd be cool if he gets it.
There's time to mess around, so try to do a pretty hard trick that's unnecessary.
For N64, this would be a time where you would go collect oranges, but it doesn't matter for VC.
For N64, it's very important to get as many oranges as you can. Now he's going to go watch the Mad Jack boss cutscene. This will do 2 things. One, the cutscene will not be there when he goes to fight the boss, and 2, that is actually what gives him all the moves he needs to beat the final boss.
Yeah, so that just watching or entering that mystery menu mode
Good luck.
for the Frantic Factory boss, it sets all your moves to be like at that point you'd be in the game, like what moves you'd have at that point in the game, and it doesn't take them away from you. So if you're able to pull yourself into your file in a non-traditional way through the intra-story glitch, then you actually get to keep them in your file. Because it thinks you're still on the menu. And as a side effect of thinking you're still on the menu, you can't do stuff like pause or take damage.
So the last thing that happened was he got a cutscene on the main menu, which pulled him into the file. And yes, you cannot pause or take damage or save. And that cutscene, you can get a bad one, and it wastes time since not every cutscene works. He got good luck, thankfully, so
Yeah.
a little time there.
And you saw earlier he got Warp 4, so now he can just go straight up to Factory. And we should note that he went to Hideout Helm and now he's going to Factory. And the reason he's only going to these 2 places is because those are the actual only 2 keys that you need to beat the game.
Yes.
And you'll see why.
Now he's going to do another moon kick off this box.
Yeah. So
to
this
get to a vent above the entrance to Frantic Factory to do a clip out of bounds.
Yeah.
That is similar effect to Wet Escape, where he did a swim through walls. This is
all right,
called
very good.
Fall through walls or phase falling, and he got it first try. Nice.
Yeah, this uses the exact same technique as swim through vertical walls does, except you're just doing it in the air, and you can actually apply it to basically any vertical wall in the game.
There's also a walking version, but that's pretty hard to pull off.
Mm-hmm.
But it is possible.
That was the trick that we were talking about that let VC become a lot more easily done than N64 and faster.
The clip prior is really hard and annoying. Okay, so now he's going to use this robot to push him out of bounds to go directly to the boss door. He got it first try. Nice.
Yeah, if you lure that robot into the corner, he can literally just attack you and push you out, which is really convenient. Oh, and is he going to get it? Oh, so close.
Oh, if you're good, you can land in the Trophenscoff portal from the kick, and that saves a bit of time.
It just skips the splat.
It's pretty close, though.
He was really close. That was good.
Now he's going to fight Well, first he's going to do a moon kick off this slope to clip through a weak wall to enter the boss early.
Yeah, so every Trophenscoff you can get out of bounds that method, which it makes colored bananas essentially useless.
Alright. Now he's going to fight the hardest boss in the game, Mad Jack, as DK.
Yeah, so this fight is hard enough as Tiny, but he has to do this as DK, and it's a lot harder as DK because DK dips down very low, and there's this plane that's like very, very close to where the platforms are, and if you touch it with any part of your model, it actually starts the phase over because it think you fell. But the only way that DK can really effectively get between the platforms is to kick jump between them, and he can tend to dip very low whenever he goes for that. So sometimes you can just randomly, it appears,
if you're not careful, you can have him jump weird and the phase will start over. Another thing he's trying to do is stay away from Mad Jack. If you are more than one adjacent square away from Mad Jack, he will do a fast jump, which is better than a slow jump because, well, it's faster. So he's trying to maximize how many fast jumps he can get. For the first 3 phases, it's quite easy. His movement's more predictable. You just stay far away from him and then jump to where he is, and you get them all the time.
So he's not getting great switch luck, but
the switches are really good. RNG, so can really screw you over if they get in a bad spot.
Yeah, Mad Jack moves in a very predictable way, so the whole fight is just about manipulating his position.
Yeah. Now he's on phase 4. His movement's a bit different. He's not gonna go directly in a square, and that means you cannot get as many fast jumps. So you can only get 1 out of 2 fast jumps if he plays well. But thankfully, his attack's easier to avoid, the laser.
In phase 4 and 5, Mad Jack doesn't just go in this set sort of loop. He actually starts following you very aggressively, so you have to kind of change up the way that you avoid him. Oh, he dipped. Okay, that was phase reset. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, you saw Mad Jack jump back to that platform all the way over there. It's
He
very
dipped.
clearly a phase reset.
Yeah, he dipped very low there, and
Thankfully, it was early in the phase, though, not at the end.
yeah, and Mad Jack seemed to just sort of start instantly. Sometimes he
Yeah.
has this little startup where he doesn't start the phase again for a while. So
The jump counts of Mad Jack are also the same each time they increase their 9, 11, 12, 13, and 15 jumps. Now, in the last phase, you can see he's invisible, but that doesn't really mean much. You can still see where he's jumping. Oh, he just phase reset.
That's unfortunate. He phase reset
no.
and he fell. Okay. While the switches respond.
That's fine.
That's unfortunate, but it's not too big of a loss.
He can't die, though, because he doesn't take damage, so that's good.
Yeah. That's what we're saying. This fight is very, very difficult. So
Yeah.
this is this could be a reset point for a lot of people.
Yeah.
In fact, it is for most.
When you get your time up there, this is a big reset point, not only in terms of difficulty, but you can just play it fine and get completely screwed by Switch RNG.
Yeah. Okay. That should be it.
Alright. Now he has key 3. Keys 8 and 3 are the only boss keys you need to beat the game. Basically, the game... Well, the developers made it so if you have keys 8 and 3 turned in, then final boss area will spawn. Because those are the only 2 keys that don't open levels, so they assume if you have those ones, well, you must have gotten the rest of them. How else would you have gotten to Hideout Helm? But
yeah, in intended play, the only way you can get up to key 8 is getting all of the ones before it except for 3.
Yeah.
But in order to spawn the ship, normally you have to free K Lumsy, which requires all the keys. So the only 2 flags that it actually checks when it's spawning the ship is whether or not key 3 and key 8 are turned in.
Now he has to turn them in, watch a few cutscenes, and
yeah,
it's off to fight the final boss.
Yeah, but overall, pretty solid play.
Great switch kick, great factory early, great robot push. Pretty good.
Yeah, he had a really good helm and really good factory movement.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, he's an old runner. He's very technical, very impressive. He pioneered a lot of the strats that we see to this day. So right there, he just did a kick during the cutscene that gets him a little closer to the exit.
Yeah, DK's kick animation continues through cutscenes, so if you can time it, so he gains a little bit of distance to the loading zone.
Now you see now he has warp 3 because he was able to tag it during MMM earlier.
Yeah. Saves quite a bit of time over swimming all the way around.
No.
Okay, now it's the final boss.
No. And the reason VC is so much faster is largely due to this fight. Because there'll be a phase you fight as Tiny that's something like 40 seconds faster, just in pure lag.
Yeah.
Lag reduction. So
boss fights in particular are quite laggy on N64. Mm-hmm. A good N64 K Rool is like a sub 1220. A good VC K Rool is like a low 1130. So that's quite a lot of time.
Yeah, it's kind of funny though that like 80% of the time save in K Rool that was like just Tiny Phase.
Yeah, Tiny Phase is definitely the biggest part of it. There is lag reduction strats in Tiny Phase, but even with them, VC is still so much faster.
Yeah, like N64 without lag reduction strats would probably be 30 seconds slower or something, or maybe a minute.
Alright, so DK Phase, quite simple. K Rool punches the same amount of time, so he just gets in the barrels as fast as he can. and waits to count the punches and then shoots as soon as he's done. Can get in the first barrel right away if he jumps up during the cutscene. That saves a bit of time.
Yeah. And some people like to count the number of punches K. Rool does. Some people count the number of oscillations that the barrel does, but it's always going to be the same depending on which corner you're on. So this is a very consistent phase for almost every runner.
Yeah. Usually regarded as the easiest phase.
Yeah.
However, the next phase is usually regarded as the hardest one, Diddy phase.
We'll see how this goes.
But basically, what he's going to do is he's going to rocket barrel up and shoot some switches to land lights on K. Rool's head. What he wants to do is get in a certain spot so he can hit both switches right away and have it be instant. It's very easy to mess up your positioning, though, and get hit and fly all the way around to hit the other switch.
Oh, wow. That's a really cool way of getting rocket barrel skip.
Yeah.
I've never seen that. Okay, that was a really good phase one.
Wow, that's insane. That's a pretty damn good light.
Now he's going to get in a position where he can shoot through the backside and also get the switch on the side that he's on. And he's going to repeat this for the next 2 lights. Well, good. This is a very good Diddy phase so far.
Yeah, this is incredible.
If he gets this will be amazing. Wow. That was fantastic.
That might be Diddy phase record. That was insane.
No frame perfect fast walks, but
yeah, if you
really solid play.
If you hit one of the switches at a certain time during the animation, K. Rool will run immediately. It's frame perfect and not something you can really get consistent at, but happens once in a while.
Yeah, I think you have to shoot the switches like the frame his boxing glove leaves his arm or something.
Okay, lanky phase. So he's going to go for a certain pattern to make a cycle. K. Rool runs around the ring in a certain manner. And if he throws the barrels in a certain spot, you can get the same cycle every time.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't want to get hit or be too slow.
If all goes well, he'll know exactly where K. Rool is at any moment. But taking any damage or throwing in the wrong spot or having poor movement can sort of throw things off a little bit. So hopefully he gets all the quick cycles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, looks like he's going to get pretty perfect lanky phase.
Good lanky phase.
This phase is usually pretty consistent too for most people.
Mm-hmm. Alright. Next is Tiny Phase. Tiny Phase is very easy on Wii U. A lot of the optimization comes from lag reduction strats, which do not exist since the game already basically doesn't lag. So what he's going to try and do is basically get in the barrel as fast as he can to get into K. Rool's shoe, and it's quite long. It's a long phase. You have to wait a while. So in VC, it's nearly an auto-scroller. There's not much time you can save or lose.
No.
And K. Rool will also pound the same amount of time so he knows when the mini monkey barrel will spawn.
Yeah. Is it just the last phase that his position can be random?
The last phase, K. Rool can go to It's RNG which corner he goes to. Yes.
Yeah. But I think in the other ones it's pretty consistent.
The other ones, it's always the same.
Yeah.
So he actually technically doesn't have Tiny's gun. So Tiny's gun is a little... Actually, no, that's not right. That's a different route, sorry.
Yeah, that's in the other route.
I'm used to a different route where you don't actually have Tiny's gun.
Yeah. In the fastest route, you skip the funky weapon switch, which gives you all the guns, and you specifically only get Diddy's guns by watching a very specific cutscene.
Mm-hmm.
But in this route, he actually has the guns for all the Kongs, which means he's able to put it away if he chooses to.
He's gonna use oranges. They are a little bit faster. You can hit the toes just slightly faster even on VC.
Mm-hmm.
On N64, you'd want to use it for all of them, but on VC, it doesn't really matter too much.
Yeah, so when he went into multiplayer, earlier on N64, they would grab all 20 of those oranges because that would go into the file with them, and that would be enough for getting through Factory and also this phase. But it doesn't matter as much for VC.
Yeah.
The only ones that he's going to care to hit with oranges are the last toe of each phase because he can use the splash damage to get the toe a little before it actually is exposed.
It's easier to hit faster, and you can wait after one of the toes is active to hit it, and it will still start the next cycle.
Mm-hmm.
But for the last shot of each round, that doesn't happen. The cycle ends right away. So those are the ones you want to use the oranges on. So you can end the inside the shoe as soon as possible.
Any toe before the last one of each phase, it doesn't matter when you hit it as long as you just hit it before the toe goes back down. So
yeah, on N64, oranges would still be better to use for all of them because it's easier to lag reduce that way. But on VC, that doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the last phase for Tiny.
Yeah, and these toes are all on a set pattern. I don't know if we mentioned that. So he knows
they're
exactly...
set patterns so he can stand in the same spots. If you watch an N64 run and then look at this, it's very ridiculous how much faster the toes are going.
Yeah, and they're doing a lot more actions too, just to reduce lag.
Mm-hmm.
But on VC, you can kind of just do whatever.
Yeah. On N64, people would be looking down all the time away from the toes, but it still doesn't match VC's near lagless Tiny phase.
Yeah. Alright, so the last phase of the game. Looks like he's on pace for like a low 30.
I think he could sub 30.
Yeah, I didn't see when he actually entered the phase. Oh, and this is VC Chunky Phase 2. Yeah, he could get high 29, which would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be very good. Okay, so Chunky Phase is just a cycle. You wanna not get hit the switch as fast as possible, get to the Grilligons as fast as possible. Punch him 4 times. K-Rool moves the same each time. Oh, is he doing this?
Signa loves to mess around.
I thought he was gonna do the jump thing where K-Rool jumps.
Maybe he was going for it. I don't know. Okay, he just made a really tight cycle there.
Yeah.
It's really hard to get to that switch without taking damage on K-Rool.
The second and third cycles are pretty easy to get hit, and that wastes a bit of time.
Yeah, but if he can get through those, then it'll be a very clean phase.
Yep.
Looks like he will.
Yep.
He went a little wide, but
That's
good.
And K-Rool moves in the same manner each time. They're not random it's not random how he moves, so he knows when to punch him in his animation.
Alright, let's see if he backflips.
Okay, time's coming up. This is the last punch.
Wow. 29. I think that was 55.
I think it was 55 too. Sub 30 in a marathon. Is
Oh my god, that's fantastic.
wow.
What a good run.
Yeah.
That was very clean.
Fortunate Mad Jack, but everything else was pretty freaking good.
Yeah.
That was a really great run by signakong. Just there was a question from somebody in chat a little earlier who was asking if there are any glitchless categories for Donkey Kong.
There is, but they are not that popular, so they don't have their own separate category on speedrun.com. You can still submit a glitchless run for the normal categories, and we do have a spreadsheet for specifically glitchless, well, for many various categories that you can submit glitchless to, but it's not that interesting for this game.
Yeah, glitchless 70% and glitchless 101%, it's just, it doesn't add anything.
It's
like,
basically...
The glitches add so much value to the speedruns that, you know, it's just, they're almost not worth doing the glitchless categories. We do have a category that's, like, it restricts some use of glitches. We call it no levels early, which basically just prevents you from entering any levels before you're intended to.
Glitchless just adds a bunch of cutscenes. It's not popular. Almost no one runs it ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at the speedrun.com, and it looks like under miscellaneous there's any percent all keys, but I assume that's also
that's a glitch category too, but
yeah,
it's another really good category.
Cool. So again, that was